FEMA Administrator Brock Long joins us now from Washington, D.C. with the latest on the federal government's response. Good morning, Administrator. Let me ask you, this hurricane is strong and it is big. And I was looking at some of the data that less than 50% of the people under mandatory evacuation orders actually heed that call. Is this a life-threatening storm?
Yes, ma'am, it is. It's not a question of if Florence is going to impact the Carolinas and Virginia. It's going to, and it's going to be a devastating storm. This reminds me, I'm a North Carolina native. I grew up in Newton, North Carolina in 1989. Hurricane Hugo, the last landfalling Category 4 storm into the Carolinas, came right over my house. We were out of power for 10 days. I was out of school, if I remember, 2 weeks. And so this storm is setting up to be very similar to that one. So we're really hoping that people will heed the governor's warnings in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia today, and make sure that you're taking proper precautions to get out of the storm surge areas and into facilities that can withstand the winds.
And then the National Hurricane Center is warning that this storm is going to linger once it hits. How does that affect FEMA's response?
Yes, ma'am. So this is going to be a marathon event. This is not going to be a quick hit across the coast. And let's keep in mind that hurricanes can impact the entire states. And we're looking at not only coastal impacts from Cat 4 storm surge and high winds making landfall, but as this system comes inland, it's projected to stall out, which means copious amounts of rainfall through the Carolinas into Virginia, as well as many of the mid-Atlantic states. So we're positioning from basically South Carolina to Delaware as we speak to be able to support our state partners.
And Administrator Long, there's also the fact that this area has been soaked so far this year. How does that affect things like trees weakening and falling, stuff that people might not recognize when they think of a hurricane?
Yeah, you're exactly right. Unfortunately, the remnants of Gordon passed through this weekend, the mid-Atlantic states, dropping a lot of rainfall, which saturates the rivers. So the question is, how much more rainfall can these rivers handle? And right now, you're seeing forecast of 30 inches or greater. I'm truly worried about North Carolina, Virginia, particularly the central and western portions of those states that haven't seen this type of rainfall in a long time.
See, many people got smacked last year, Brock, as you know, with Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Maria. What lessons did you all learn from that?
Well, I think the nation learned a lot. It takes more than FEMA to appropriately respond and recover. And emergency management is like a chair with 4 legs. It takes the federal government, that's one leg. It takes the state and local government, that's the other leg. It takes the private sector and non-governmental organizations, that's the third leg. And then it takes you, the citizen, as the fourth leg. And when all 4 of those legs go into a response and recovery, the chair's stable. Emergency management does its job collectively. It's a whole community event. One of the things I like to remind citizens is that citizens are the true first responder for any small emergency to the large disaster, and we depend on people being prepared, and we don't have a real culture of preparedness in this country that we've got to work on.
And again, you say people take this very seriously.
Yes, please take it.
Yes.
Yeah, look, this is a Cat 4 storm, potentially a Cat 5. At FEMA, we always plan for 1 category higher. This is nothing to play with. You're going to see massive amounts of storm surge along the coast, which is the primary driver of evacuations. And then this system is going to come in and cause devastating inland floods statewide across South Carolina, North Carolina, and Virginia.
Well, Administrator Brock Long, we thank you and everyone at FEMA for all that you do. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.